Namaskar dosto, we are going to talk about a show named Glory, which is on Netflix. Not this Glory, this Glory. And I think it's very important to talk about this show because the last time Pulkit Samrat did a serious role was in... Anyway, it's been a long time since Pulkit Samrat did a serious role, so this needs to be talked about. And so we are going to get into a spoiler-filled discussion about Glory and possible theories for season 2. So if you haven't watched the show, I highly recommend it. Glory gets an 8.5 out of 10. Like, I do give 10 out of 10 for Pulkit Samrat's efforts in looking like a boxer, but bro looks really small compared to the other boxers. And also, you cannot buy the fact that he is in fact going for an 80 kg category. He looks barely over 65. And also, the supporting cast performances are exceptional. I finally think that she got a better agent with all the projects she's starring in. And also, I think there are some inconsistencies with the Jat language because it varies from the way cast members speak. Like how Arvind speaks Jat varies from how Devendra speaks Jat. I don't know if this is a me problem or if this is genuinely a problem. So without further ado, let's get started with the story. So if you don't know, Glory is a sports thriller drama which revolves around boxing. So the show starts off with the murder of a guy named Nihal Singh and his girlfriend Gudia. Now, Nihal Singh was supposed to go to the Olympics and he was supposedly the best student of Raghubir Singh, who owns the boxing club in Haryana. And Gudia is Raghubir Singh's daughter. So both of them get murdered by three masked men, and Gudia was pregnant at that time. And I think they knew that because they kick her right in the stomach and they almost leave them for dead. So after brutally almost killing these two, our Pulkit Samrat here, who is playing Ravindra Singh, gets the news. Now, Pulkit Samrat has been on the hide for 5 years because apparently in his last match he had killed someone. And it was a boxing match because Pulkit Samrat is the son of Raghubir Singh. And he used to be very good at boxing. So in this match, when he was going against a player named Arjun, he just smacks him across the neck and Arjun kind of faints, and it was thought that it was a full knockout because you cannot cut points when it is KO. And apparently the judges had been bribed at that time. So obviously Ravindra Singh had no choice but to perform a KO on Arjun. Now, this leads to an accidental death of Arjun, and this causes Ravindra Singh to go into hiding. Now, Ravi also has a brother named Devendra Singh, Dev, and I think Dev is the best character of the show. Now, Devendra Singh just hates his dad, Raghubir Singh, and he apparently has a prosthetic leg because back when Devendra was a kid, Raghubir Singh used to beat him left, right, and center because he was not good at boxing. And so he ran away from home after he sustained a grave injury due to the abuse. And since bro did not have the sense to get the injury treated, it got infected, aka sepsis, and then he had to get his leg amputated, and then he had gotten a prosthetic leg. And we also see him deliver this emotional monologue to his to-be girlfriend, Jaina Hazarika. Now, Jaina Hazarika joins this show as a journalist who is doing a case on Nihal Singh, but it is later found out that she was actually Nihal's friend and she was willing to help out Gudia and Nihal to stay with her in Delhi. And Nihal was ready to throw away everything for Gudia to start a family with her. Now, cut to Arvind, who is a police officer investigating the case and coincidentally happens to be a very good friend of Ravi as well. And Arvind has a beautiful wife named Bharati. So, obviously, in a typical Bollywood style, Ravi and Bharati have insane chemistry because they kind of begin falling for each other in this show. And also, the show keeps you guessing who the murderer is until the very last episode, because they pull the angle of love hostel style caste based marriage, okay, and that's why the very regressive politician Kuki Yadav and his goons kind of beat them up or something. And also you have another angle with prostitution, which is run by the killer. And also you have Dev doing his own investigation on the side. And I do like the romance between Dev and Joyna, but what I don't approve of is the unnecessary romance between Ravi and Bharati. Bharati could just convince Ravi that, hey, if you enjoy boxing and if that's your happiness, then I think your sister would want you to be happy, so you have to go back to boxing. Then that would still work. These two could have just stayed good friends, okay? But apparently these two actually end up getting it on, and obviously Arvind finds out about it while helping Devendra to find out who the culprit is. So obviously he is just like, no, mission abort, and then he goes and then he tries to kill his wife. And that sequence was very tense, but I think I've seen so many dramas that I could actually predict him kind of trying to kill her. And obviously she, in this moment of panic, kind of takes his gun and shoots him across the chest. And then we see that Ravi's dad, Raghuveer Singh, kind of chops Arvind into pieces and then just disposes them off into the lake. Now, Arvind's boss was hell-bent on closing this case first, but now, since Arvind has gone missing, he is just like, wait a second, I think this goes to Dev. Now, Dev finds out that the three masked men were apparently this guy named Sunny, who Ravi goes to find out about at the National Sports Institute, where he goes as a replacement for Nihal after winning the emergency trials with Ashutosh Rana's candidate, who was the smaller brother of Arjun, who Ravi had accidentally killed in the match 5 years ago. So obviously, Kid Samrat is just like, listen, this is psychological warfare and it's not fair for you guys to do this to me. And also you have another candidate named Raka, who was the next best candidate after Nihal and was the sort of prized pupil of Raghuveer Singh. So Raka definitely thought that he might go as a replacement for Nihal, but apparently he is just like, hey, Ravi is my sparring partner, sure, but then he went to the emergency trial, leaving me behind. How is this fair? And obviously, Raka cannot put two and two together and cannot figure out that Ravi is actually going to NSI to find out who actually killed Nihal, because obviously boxing is very competitive and nobody, at least in the boys category, has won gold for India till now, and Raghuveer Singh badly wants the gold medal for India and he is willing to do anything for it. So obviously Raghuveer Singh is just like, listen, I've lost my daughter and this is bigger than boxing. But Raka is just like, listen, nothing is bigger than boxing for me and for you. And obviously he pulls some stuff behind the scenes. He goes to Ashutosh Rana and he kind of joins his institute, and also he is just like, okay, fine, now I'm getting to go, because obviously Ravi, being very, very stupid, is just like, listen, I know I KO'd people and I know I could switch punches with any of the players here, and I kind of got what I wanted because apparently Sunny's friend is right there and I could just find out who the third person is. And obviously I don't think I need the glory or whatever anymore, and my brother and my dad are kind of waiting for me out there. So obviously he just gets out of the sports institute, and the one rule of the institute is that you are never supposed to leave the institute once you get in, because Nihal's death has shocked everybody and the National Sports Institute is on high alert. So Ravi just gets out like a fool and is just like, okay, we need to search for Bodhisattva Sharma's character, Kapil, because I got to know after fighting a very rough and tough girl from the National Sports Institute, that Kapil was actually a very close friend of Sunny, and Kapil might hold further clues. And I think bro finally got a very good agent, because what the hell was he doing in Big Girls Don't Cry? And obviously it's such a shame that All India Rank was such an underrated movie, so I'm glad that he got a role in this. So obviously he just straight up smashes the dude's hand with the boulder, and Dave is just like, listen, I will stop at nothing to get answers from you. And Kapil is like, listen, this guy is at Hisar. And obviously, these people are just like, oh my god, we have to go all the way to Hisar now. And so, obviously, they kind of try to torture him more to get more answers out of him. But surprise, surprise, the police kind of arrive in time. And obviously, they kind of capture Raghuveer Singh and Devendra Singh. But Raghuveer, being a very good father, just tosses his son Ravi off the cliff, and he is just like, Bhagwan bhala kare tumhara. And obviously, Ravi just gets hit by a rock at the bottom of the cliff, and he is just like, oh no, now I have to do my own investigation. And then he goes to Arvind and hides in Arvind's basement. And then the officers kind of put Coach and Devendra Singh in jail, and obviously, they are kind of in a separate cell, because apparently one of the guards' kids were Coach's prized pupils who made it to nationals. And then Coach and Devendra have a very emotional confrontation, because Coach Raghuveer Singh is just like, listen, my dad was very strict with me. I'm really sorry that I projected it on you. And Dave is just like, please cut this nonsense, okay? You should be protecting us. You should be protecting our family. You didn't sell our club even when Ashutosh Rana got his guns out, and you almost got Gudiya killed, and she was just a kid that time, and right now she is dead because of you. And obviously, Raghuveer Singh is just like, okay, I'm really, really sorry, but Dave still doesn't forgive him. And then we see that Pulkit Samrat is there in Arvind's basement, and then Superior just comes across his house. So obviously he is just like, Arvind, bathroom kidhar hai? And then Arvind does not have the sense to lock the door of the basement. So obviously he finds out that Ravindra Singh is hiding in the basement, and Ravi is just like boxing 1, 2, 3. So he just punches him and then he just runs away. But apparently the superior had already called his entourage there. So obviously Ravi kind of gets caught by the police, and then he is just like, listen, I think we can pull some strings and we can get out of this situation, because apparently all the charges have been dropped, because Joyna, Dev's girlfriend, is just like, yeah, your dad kind of agreed to sell the club to Ashutosh Rana, so all the charges have been dropped. And Raghuveer Singh is just like, you know what, Dev, you're actually right. I chose my family over boxing. Hooray! And Dev is just like, yeah, okay, whatever. This is so weird because we almost got killed back there. And then Ravi is just like, okay, dad, listen, I'm not doing anything for our sister right now. I am going to do boxing, and I think Gudiya, my sister, would have wanted this for me. And Dev is just like, bro, you have no right to tell what Gudiya would have wanted, because clearly I care for her more than you do. And obviously that creates a rift between the brothers. So Dev goes with Joyna and Raghuveer goes with Ravi. So Raghuveer and Ravi are just like, listen, I know that the NSI wouldn't take you back even after you gave the very inspiring Muhammad Ali type of speech to Coach Sir. So we will start training for the Olympics on our own. And they obviously reside in their grandparents' place and they start training. And here we see Devendra trying to figure out where the third person involved in the murder is, because he learned from Sunny that apparently they were given money to only kill Gudiya and not Nihal, but Nihal just happened by accident. Although by looking at that death, it was very, very intentional. But turns out that Nihal's brother, Hukum, had already killed Sunny before they could get any other info. So obviously, Kuki Yadav is behind They've cut back to the present. We have Joanna and Dev working tirelessly over this. So obviously Joanna is just like, hey, why don't we go to Gudia's house and actually find out what is going on? Maybe we'll find a new clue. And then they meet Ravi there. So obviously they find out that, okay, yeah, so we have Gudia's books and everything, and then Dev realizes something after picking up a history textbook. And then Joanna is just like, hey, did Gudia draw? And Dev is just like, no, she didn't. And then she just holds up a drawing book with very beautiful drawings in it and then checks the name in the drawing book. And apparently it belonged to someone named Nishi. So she is just like, who is Nishi? And then finally, Dev takes Ravi's car given to him by his dad and then just goes to Arvind because he realized something massive after looking at the history textbook. And then Arvind is like, oh, Bhanshod. And Ravi is like, oh, Bhanshod. And then Joanna is just like, bro, tell me what is going on. And they are just like, remember how the second guy was saying that the third guy was there in Hisar? Apparently, Hisar in Haryana also means fort. So this guy is clearly hiding at a fort. And these people are just like, oh, okay, cool, let's go to the fort. And so they take a boat and then they go to the fort. And then Arvind is just like, okay, I find this anklet in your car, and whose is it, because this clearly belongs to my wife. And Dev is just like, bro, this is Ravi's car, just don't ask me any questions. And obviously Arvind is just so mad about this because he kind of gets to know that Ravi and his wife are getting it on, okay? And here we see Arvind going to his wife, and the choking episode just happens, and Raghuveer Singh tells Ravi that, listen, I don't want this girl anywhere near you. And at the same time, Ravi gets a call from the coach in NSI saying that, hey, I forgot that this was Bollywood, and apparently your speech kind of inspired me. You were right, I was wrong. Come back to NSI. We'll do the selection in 2 days. And Ravi is just like, cool. So he goes to NSI, and then he kind of goes for the Olympic trials by kind of fighting everybody. And then we see that Raka is also there with Ravi, and apparently Dharam was supposed to go instead of him, but Raka apparently messed with Dharam's brakes on the bike because the brakes kind of failed. He fell off the bridge and kind of died. So obviously Raka is inside. Now Dev, after going to the fort, finds out the identity of the third person, but before he could spill any info on this girl that the third person was with, this prostitute kind of drugs him and poisons him, and he kind of dies without spilling any info. So that prostitute's name was Nishi. So Dev is just like, oh my god, okay, so I will come for you later. And he heads straight towards Arvind's house, and then he kind of finds out that Arvind's wife is actually the one who hired the three people to kill Gudia. And he is just like, listen, Arvind is going to be here any minute now, and you are going to be exposed. And this lady is just like, no, I killed Arvind. And then she calls the police on Dev, and obviously the police kind of arrest Dev, and then they kind of let her have a few minutes with him. So we cut to flashback where we see that Gudia actually rescued Nisha from some thugs, and Bharati used to do this business where she used to get young girls from Jharkhand, her hometown, and actually sell them to wannabe husbands in Haryana. So basically a broker for arranged marriage, because the same thing happened to her. And obviously she is just like, listen, the parents who agree to this are not really parents, because who would do such a cruel thing, right? And then we cut to the present where Bharati is just like, listen, I am working with another person. And then the scene cuts to the day of the Olympic selection where everybody is cheering for Raka, who is supposed to go against Ravi. So we think that the person Bharati is working with is apparently Raka. And it also makes sense since we have seen Raka do dirty stuff to people who get in his way. And obviously, Nihal was kind of in his way, so it makes sense that he also wanted to kill Nihal. And then we see Devendra somehow escape and get to the place where Ravi is. And Coach Sir is just looking very intently at the match because before the match, Raka actually stabs Ravi. So obviously, the injury kind of takes time to heal because it was only a superficial injury. But your serratus anterior is very crucial, and it is also called as a boxer's muscle. So if that is injured, then your punches won't land with as much force. So obviously Ravi is kind of injured and he is just like, no, I need to fight the match, I need to do this for Coach Sir, I need to do this for Coach Sir. And then Devendra somehow comes to Ravi's aid and he is just like, listen Ravi, I need to tell you something very, very important. And Ravi is just like, okay, wait, this can wait. And then finally Ravi is just like, okay, what were you about to tell me? And Devendra is just like, nothing, just win this match and come, because he knows that this match is very important to his younger brother Ravi. And when Ravi gets in the ring, then Devendra sits behind his dad and he just points a gun and he is just like, listen, forget about the match, you need to come with me. And then we cut to flashback, and then we get to know that the person Bharati was working with all along was actually none other than Raghubir Singh. Because keep in mind that in the second episode, Gudia's death looked like a suicide. Like, after Gudia kind of got murdered in the first episode, she was taken to the hospital and she was somewhat alive. But later, when Devendra and Ravi visit her, they do not tell her that Nihal is dead, and they are just like, listen, everything will be okay. And when they kind of get into a fight with Ashutosh Rana's students, then Ashutosh Rana is just like, bro, haven't you heard the news? We can't kill any more people of your family because I don't think you'll afford the funeral costs. And obviously, these people just act clueless, like, what are you talking about? And Ashutosh Rana is just like, haven't you heard? Like, Gudia just killed herself. And then when they head to the hospital, they find her body, but with the surgeon's scissors embedded in her chest. And these people are just like, okay, Gudia just killed herself because she couldn't deal with the grief of losing Nihal and her baby. And from there, these people just decide to take revenge. Now, cutting back to episode 7, these people, Dev and Raghubir Singh, are in a room, and obviously Raghubir is just like, okay, so you found out. And Dev is just like, but why did you kill your own daughter for this? And he is just like, bro, you know, finding a good student is like striking gold and finding a needle in a haystack, okay? And obviously, you were of no use and your brother is on the run, so Nihal was my only option. But this guy was ready to throw it all away for Gudia. And then we see that he got in touch with Bharati through Nisha. And Gudia is just like, listen, dad, did you send those guys after me? And Raghubir is just like, what are you talking about? And apparently we see that Sunny was just like, listen, we were following Gudia everywhere, okay, to her English classes and everything. And the one time she was supposed to be at this place, she wasn't because she had to meet Nihal. So obviously our plans got foiled and we had to kill that guy also brutally. And then Gudia is just like, you kind of know about me and Nihal, so that's why you tried to eliminate us, right? And Raghubir is just like, listen, you got in my way. You are trying to steal my glory from me because Nihal was going to go to the Olympics. He was going to win gold for me, but you had to get pregnant and you wouldn't even abort the baby. So I had to take you out of the way. And then he takes the surgeon's scissors and kind of stabs Gudia with it, and Gudia kind of dies. So he wipes the blood and makes it look like a suicide. And then Devendra is just like, how could you do that? And he points the gun at his dad. And the episode just ends with Ravi winning the match against Raka and being like, listen, Coach Sir, I overcame my injury. I followed your advice to trust the pain. And then I kind of won fair and square. Even Ashutosh Rana praised me for it. So we all are going to Olympics, and obviously Coach Sir is pretty happy about it. But Devendra is just like, bro, I don't care about your gold. You killed your own daughter. And then we have to wait for season 2 if they are planning to greenlight a season 2, because I really think that this story deserves a season 2, and I hope they don't leave us hanging like Fame Game. So, if they ever decide to continue the story, I have two theories as to which direction this story is going to go. So, the first theory is that either Devendra got shot by the police and his death was kept a secret, and Ravi remains oblivious because Raghubir tries to cover it up. But Joyna kind of finds out something about Dev's death and kind of informs Ravi about it, and Ravi kind of wins the gold, but he is just like, listen, this is worthless and everything, and he kind of demeans his dad and somehow gets him arrested by the police, and we kind of get a monologue on how the gold and competition just tears family apart. Otherwise, the second theory is that either Raghubir gets shot by Devendra and the police kind of arrest Dev, and Ravi gets really, really angry at Dev and doesn't believe him when Dev even tells that, listen, Raghubir kind of killed Gudia, and that's why I had to kill our dad, and you should trace where Bharati went because she kind of disappeared after the 7th episode. And so Ravi kind of finds proof from Joyna, who is also trying to get Devendra out of jail. And you also have a separate plot about Ravi kind of trying to compete in the Olympics at the same time. And finally, we see that Ravi kind of wins gold, and then Joyna kind of succeeds in getting Dev out, and Bharati kind of gets caught somehow. The bonus theory is that the gun was fired in air and nobody dies, but then Ravi comes after the match and he is just like, hey, what's going on here? And then he kind of gets to know that, okay, Raghubir actually killed his sister, and he is just like, okay, I am going to forfeit from the Olympics. And then Raghubir is just like, okay, yeah, there's no way you can do that, and that stretches on for like 2 or 3 episodes while Dev gets sent to jail. And then Ravi kind of goes to find out about Bharti and everything. He doesn't attend the matches and stuff, and then he also kind of tortures Raghubir and everything, and he is on the run from Raghubir. And also you have Joyna trying to get Dev out. So I'm really not sure how they're going to play out all of this. And so there you have it. Those are my theories for Glory. And if you guys haven't watched it already, please watch it. Shows like these are really hard to come by, especially from Netflix India. So screw IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes, because I think that Glory is on par with Haseen Dilruba, if not better than Haseen Dilruba. So that's all I have to say about Glory. As for me, I could kind of guess that Raghubir Singh was involved in the murder of Gudia and Nihal Singh, because the Radhika Yadav incident kind of happened some time back. So it was not that difficult to make this speculation, but I didn't think it would come true. As for you guys, do let me know if you were able to make this deduction or if you were left guessing till the end. And thank you so much for making it till here. You are a tough one if you have endured my explanation. And do let me know what you think about this show in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.